want to talk about transitioning from academia without burning out. And I'm going to talk a lot about different jobs, all that sort of stuff, because let me just find my slides here. What we want to do is so that you can achieve a life aligned with your values and experience more freedom. So, of course, you want to do intellectually engaging work, but without the academic uncertainty. You want to find fulfilling work without experiencing burnout. You want to work on meaningful issues without accepting a lower paying job. There's so many people who think that you have to accept a lower level position, less seniority, or less money when you're changing industries, but that's not always true. And you want to have an impact without feeling undervalued. Because, yeah, I felt undervalued. I don't know if anybody's seen Severance, but I was really enjoying that series. Let me know if you've seen it. But basically, it's about people who are able to sever their work selves from their life selves. So when they go to work, they're a completely different self. They don't remember who they are at home. They don't remember who their family are. They don't know who their family are. They don't know if they have children, all that sort of stuff. And it makes them better workers because they can pay attention and not have to worry about what was going on when they were at home. Likewise, when they leave work, they forget everything from work and they are now in home mode and they don't remember what work was like. So, I think that academia would probably enjoy this. It makes you into kind of a machine, doesn't it? And it allows for exploitation because your home person has no idea if you're being exploited or harassed or experiencing burnout. I think you experience some of the tiredness, and of course if your work self hasn't eaten all day, you would be like, oh my god, I'm freaking starving. But in terms of the emotional issues, those are kind of put aside because they're part of the other part of your brain. So in this GIF, she's trying to give her home self a message saying I need you to get me out, because there's no other way to send messages back and forth. So yeah, I think academia, would probably take our dean and pro vice chancellors would have been yes, let's at least give people the option, So yeah, we want out of that kind of system. So let's play. Can you build a career pivot like you plan a holiday? How would you plan a holiday? Would you want to go somewhere where you're going to hate it? If you are really into the beach, and you hate the cold, are you going to go to Alaska in the winter or Finland in the winter? You want to be able to choose something that aligns with your priorities, your values, what you want out of life, right? That's what we want. So we want to pivot like we plan a holiday. Yeah, we want to choose the fun and engaging things. You know what? Baggage allowances are not friendly, right? So we don't want to bring our emotional baggage with us because we're going to have to pay a lot for the emotional baggage. We want good locations. We want, a guide, maybe, like a coach. We need some kind of guide. We need some kind of mentoring. We need a compass of direction of what we're going into, and really having that alignment with our values. And you don't need to stick to an itinerary, right? You can be spontaneous, you can be courageous, you can bring your adventurous crew, and you know what? You need to swerve those negative, spineless people and let them go take a paddle in the river, right? You don't want to listen to them. You don't want those people on your journey with you. We want a nice holiday. And you're going to discover yourself as you discover new lands. You're tougher than you think. See what you're made of. And you want to embody the energy of a millionaire on vacation, right? You want to focus on all the things that you can do, not all the things that, I can't do that. So that's what we want our career pivot to be like, right? Let me know if you agree. Give me a thumbs up, give me an emoji, Say yes. Say yes. An enthusiastic yes. Right, that's what we want. Awesome. So, I'm Luna Munoz Centifanti. I am, as you can tell from my accent, originally from the US. I did my undergrad, master's, and PhD in the US, and then to live the American dream, I'm $75,000 in debt, but to live the American dream and rise out of poverty, as you do, like a phoenix out of the ashes, I decided to leave the US, right? And live the American dream by moving to Europe. And the reason why I did that was because during my PhD, my professor didn't get tenure. Same thing happened while I was doing my undergrad and I was working in a lab with one of the professors. He also didn't get tenure because he spent a lot of time on the teaching, which is not valued. And instead, he didn't bring in enough grant money. So I decided to not go back there and to choose the UK because I thought, okay, well, they have permanent positions here. I'll come to the UK. So I got a job as a lecturer in the UK, and then I moved up to senior lecturer, and then senior lecturer in a different university because I thought I'd get promoted faster. And then I got deputy director of research, postgraduate research, deputy director of research of clinical psychology. All these deputy director positions were because they said if I took on more and more and more leadership positions, I'd get promoted. And then I was on a redundancy list. So those deputy positions did not save me. But it did save the director of research, who was a white man. So that, I guess, is a good thing. So I decided to leave academia. I was able to beat the system. I was a rep in the union, and I was out every day talking to the media. I was in the Liverpool Echo, I don't know how many times. I was talking to Jeremy Corbyn, who was the head of the Labour Party. I was giving presentations on Zoom to people from all over the world who were talking about like BS metrics that were being used, like grant income to determine academics' worth, as well as citation indices, because they were using this FWCI. Has anybody heard of it? Like, let me know. Have you heard of FWCI? Let me know. Like, because that was new to me. And so we beat it, and none of us were made redundant, but I did decide to leave because I said, I've had enough of this. I've not had a good time in Sweden, UK, US. Like, they were all not valuing what I really cared about, which is about the student experience. And obviously I had, 60 publications, I had grants, I had all that kind of stuff. But the things that I cared about, like the equality, diversity, inclusion things that I led on, the teaching innovation that I got prizes for, didn't save me at the end of the day. And I could just see the writing on the wall. Everybody we were hiring were people bringing in millions, right, of grant money. So I decided to leave, and it was a big journey. But at the end of it, I created a Pivot with Purpose program, a life after academia program. And this allowed me to break free of expectations. The idea that I wasn't good enough, the feeling burnt out from the demanding and all that all-encompassing work. I mean, especially during the pandemic, I was spending hours with students because, well, they were trainees. They were supposed to enter the clinical psychology and become therapists. So we were upping our game to get them out and qualified so that they could go and do therapy with people and deal with the mental health crisis that was alongside the COVID crisis. So I was working on that rather than spending maybe as much time on the grant work, right? So yeah, all the shoulds, I should be writing, the damaging metrics and feeling like a failure, and all of that I got rid of so that I could do the things that really mattered to me, like doing dance therapy or whatever. So that's why I created this program that I'm going to tell you about later. But for now, we're going to crack on. So who does this best fit? Anyone wanting to leave academia with clarity and purpose and gaining one or more of the following. So number one, gaining more creativity and freedom with less stress. Right, number one, if you agree with that one for why you're here. Number two, live the lifestyle you dream of. Number three, become confident in your skills so you can sell them to employers or clients if you want to be an entrepreneur. Number four, have the impact you want and on your own terms. Number five, have a fulfilling job so you won't regret leaving academia. Which one fits you guys best? Let me know in the comments. What is your main drive for being here? 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Let me know. Number two, live the lifestyle. Yes. Oh, that's amazing. 4 and 5. Yes. Yes. 4. Thanks, Laureline. Amazing. 1 and 2. Thanks, G. Kim says 5. Justine, thanks for joining. Oh my goodness, it must be super early for you or super late, depending on how you see it. 2 and 4. Amazing. So I wish I could put across the chat from the website, but I can't put you guys' comment up. So that's annoying, but I will do that for next time. That's the next thing I'm going to do. But yes, thank you. So yes, 1, 2, 4, not so much 3. Okay, people are confident. Awesome. You guys are amazing. I love this. And having the impact, that was a big part for me. And having that fulfilling job, I think that's amazing. Perfect. Let's see. Okay, let's go forward. So I want to talk about, when I used to do this masterclass, I used to talk in kind of, what are the things that are going wrong for you guys, and what are the myths around this, and how can you do better? But you know what? I am so not about limitations and lack and, having a limiting mindset. I am all about empowering people. One of my clients said, you are like light. You bring light instead of clouds, is what she said. I probably have a quote from her later on, but I love that. I mean, obviously my name is Luna Clara, so Clara is like very bright moon, right? So that was so nice. And my dad named me Luna Clara because he wanted me to do, big things. And Luna Creciente is on my birth certificate. Luna Clara is on my, what is it called? Baptism. So yeah, my dad died when I was 15. So I try to live the legacy that he was, leaving with my name. So yeah, I'm going to talk about leveraging your resources or your currencies, right? More than money, you've got so many resources and currencies that I want you to know about. So first, I don't want you to be like Sandra, okay? So this is skills shape-shifting Sandra. She tries looking at job adverts, but can't work out whether she fits into any of the job specs. She creates a LinkedIn profile and hopes someone will notice her as she marks herself open to work. She creates a course proposal, but doesn't know where or how to market it. She saves up money to get onto a new degree course or gets a certificate so she can feel qualified to apply to industry. But she's kind of skills shape-shifting in that she's like, maybe I can fit into here, maybe I can fit into there. I don't really know where I fit. And maybe creating lots of, CVs or resumes that fit all these different industries. And this is where I was, okay? I didn't create a course proposal, but I know people who did, and then they went back to academia because they told me like, Luna, I tried to leave academia. It didn't work. You're not going to do it. You're not going to be able to do it. So no shade at all. These are all things that I am deeply familiar with. So don't feel bad if you are in any of these positions. Oh, it's early, Justine. Thanks for joining. I'm so glad you're here. Okay, perfect. Just want to make sure everybody's here. So currency number 1 are your skills, okay? And obviously, shape-shifting Sandra has skills. She just doesn't know where to apply them. She doesn't know which ones are valuable. So if you're in the mindset of, I don't have anything to offer, Academia is my personality. I can't sell myself or my skills. It's too late to try. I hear that, like, I was 47 when I left my job, and I kept applying to academic jobs. I was like, I'm leaving academia, guys. Oh, but wait, maybe I should apply for this academic job. Oh, I got it. No, I don't want it. Thanks. No. And then I'm like, oh, there's another academic job. I guess I'll apply for that. At the same time that I'm applying to industry, because, like, I should have a plan B. And then I got that academic job. And again, it was 15,000 pounds less per year. And at the last minute, I'm like, no, I'm actually leaving academia. I'm sorry I said yes to that job. And I mean, I was not trying to be an asshole, like, I really believed that I should take it, because I was like, academia, it's just where I am. But at the end of the day, I knew that I couldn't live with myself with starting over from scratch, going down 20,000, 15,000 and starting out from the very bottom of academic scales again. So I knew that I had to put my investment all in myself, and doing what I really wanted to do. So if you're in that position, you're not alone. This is me as well. I was like, okay, project management. Like, at first I was like, I can't do anything. I don't have any skills to sell outside of academia. And then when I got out of that cloud, I then saw potential in everything. Like, I was like, okay, I think I could be a data analyst. Yeah, head of strategic partnerships. Like, I have made a lot of networking things, in academia. I created bridges between departments. That was one of my jobs. So obviously I had to make partnerships. I had to make partnerships with the NHS. Does that count? And the project management. Yes, I have grants. All of those sounded like I could do them, but I wasn't really sure. Most people, though, have all the skills they need to pivot without further training. So I feel like I need to say that again. Most people have all the skills they need to pivot without further training, okay? I mean, most of the people that, work with me are people who have done like one, postdoc or two postdocs and they want to go, or like they're, a professor, so they've made it to tenure, or they've been assistant professor forever and never been up for tenure, so all those people like come to me thinking they don't have skills, and then we dive deep and do like a kind of, like somebody said, I'm like a medical doctor. Like, I'm like, and then what did you do then? And then, and and then I'm like, no, wait, you didn't say that that's not on your CV. What? Like, that's important. So it may be that you don't need more skills, but simply need to know how to market them, right? So, I mean, I'm hoping that you guys are feeling confident about your skills. Yes. Yay to having the skills to pivot. It's good news. Like, we do need to have a freaking hooray. I don't know if you guys watch or listen to My Favorite Murder podcast, but I love it when they say that they're freaking hoorays, but the bad word. I don't know if Facebook is going to, delete me, so I don't want to do too much cursing. So if I think back, I had to go through all of the photos that I had from like all the things that I've done. This is my child when they were like 8 or 9. I had them do a study with me, and I created like experimental tasks that would play on a tablet. I had VR tasks that I was using, that I was bringing out to schools and to prisons and doing research there with VR. And getting together with people who are programming and going, this is exactly what I need. This is what I need for it to happen. Those are all writing, like programming proposals, right? And like exactly what you want, right? Maybe I don't know how to program it, but I could probably even learn that. I was interviewed by the BBC. That's the top right corner. I was interviewed by them to understand women's violence. So they came out to the university and talked to me. So that's public engagement. That's, being an academic advisor to stakeholders. And then the one in the middle top was in Birkenhead North, which is a more deprived area across the river from Liverpool. And I was an academic consultant working with chief of police, working with family, child and family services, the local council, politicians, career connection services for youths who have left school. And so like I had to talk to a lot of different people. Those are skills, again, that I can talk about once I know how to use the different keywords that are used by the industry that I'm looking for. And then, like I said, I won in the union. That's the top left for the University College Union. I was a rep. So I had to learn about employment law. I had to do fundraising. I was one of the people who helped raise the most amount of money that the UCU branch in Liverpool had, like over £40,000, because we were gearing up for a huge fight with our university. We had a website. We were we were organized. I've been to Ecuador and I said that like such an American, Ecuador, and ran a bystander intervention program there, which then got taken up by the students there, and they started giving workshops on bystander intervention for sexual harassment. And then I've been a professional dancer. That's the bottom left one. And I've done, shows and demonstrations and danced for charity events. So like there's a lot of skills in here. My friend was sending me ones for like communications, because obviously a lot of those are communications. A lot of them are fundraising. A lot of them are, building relationships and stakeholder engagement, public engagement, knowledge exchange, all of that kind of stuff is in there, right? And even building intervention programs or evaluating intervention programs. And that's part of the work that I do with my consultancy business. So I hope that gives you some ideas. And I guess the big thing that I want to point out there is that some of that was not part of my university job, right? So my consultancy with Birkenhead North and the police, and we had like a pastor involved as well. All of that was not based on my job. Like I didn't get paid to do that. That was volunteer. The union work, obviously I wouldn't put that on an academic CV. You should be able to, but they're not about like, hey, I'm in a union and I'm gonna fight you. And then obviously the stuff in Ecuador was grants that we got, but it was really small grants. A lot of that was just kind of self-funded that we wanted to do because we have connections with people from UN Women in Guatemala and Colombia. So, we were going to do bigger things if I had stayed in academia. And the BBC, again, that's not part of my academic job. So there's probably a lot of things that you guys volunteer to do or that you do because you're passionate about it. And it's just on top of your workload. So, maybe put some things in the chat that you're thinking like, hey, there's something that I didn't think about. And I'm not saying all of your hobbies have to be, you have to get in the grind and everything needs to be marketed because that's not the way we want to live either. I'm not going to teach dancing. I'm not saying never, but I'll probably not do that because I just enjoy it for myself. I probably won't teach all the crocheting that I do. I might sell it, don't know. But there's some things I just want to do for myself, obviously. But it's good to have that knowledge. It's good to write everything down and then, pare down. But it's like out of the box thinking, right? Just, like vomit it all out and then go, okay, these are the things that I really want to do for a job. Currency number 2 is your information and your knowledge. So this is one where, you have some information, you have some knowledge, but you maybe don't have knowledge and information about the industry that you want to go into. So what do you enjoy most about academia? So put in the chat, A, the thinking, the ideating, the designing. B, the teams, discussions, meetings, conferences. C, the writing, publishing, essays. D, the teaching part of it, like lecturing students. E, the doing, like experiments, dating, technology, that kind of thing. Which parts do you really enjoy? Which ones light you up the most? E, okay. Thanks, Kim. Let's see, am I missing anybody else? A and E, Katya. Yeah. Christy says A. Yep. So the thinking, everybody likes the thinking. More the doing. B, teams. I really like the teamwork as well. Networking and conferences. Plus A. Yes, the thinking. Yes. Let's see, anybody else? Justine, Stuart, are you guys there? B and D, says Louise. B, the teams, yep. And the teaching. Yeah, I really did enjoy teaching and working with students, especially teaching them about research. I don't know about lecturing. I kind of liked it. I liked conferences, discussions, all except meetings. Yeah, and revise, resubmits. Boo, revise, resubmits. Absolutely. Totally with you there. All the different people I met. Yes, definitely. Amazing. Yes. So think about those things that you really want to bring with you as well as you're taking those skills and you've written all of them down and, had a big brainstorm. And then what are the things that you really want to bring from academia that you really enjoy doing? Could you launch a successful business? Should you start a side gig? What industry jobs are the right fit? These are all things that maybe the information and knowledge is not forthcoming for you, but you know how to seek out information and knowledge. You've done it before. These are all skills that you can do. You can engage in informational interviews and asking yourself, who has the knowledge and information I need, right? So rather than focusing on, I don't know what I can do next, asking yourself these who, what, where questions, right? Who has the knowledge? What information do I need to ask first? Where can I maybe go locally to get the information? Where can I go online to get the information? All of these questions like the who, what, where are going to empower you to find the information rather than saying, I don't know what to do, right? So work on these smaller questions. Who can I contact first that might have this information? Somebody in your network is probably going to be your best bet before you start going to people that you've never met. And then work on rediscovering your skills and redefining your career. And there are some really high value businesses, but obviously what's important in terms of that course proposal that somebody was talking about that they tried to do is knowing about your niche and carving out your niche. And that takes time and it takes effort. Even if you're going to be not an entrepreneur, but you're going to be working for somebody, it's good to know what your niche is so that you can sell specifically, this is what or who I help. If you heard about on LinkedIn about who you help, what's your mission, being really specific is really useful so that people know, oh, she's that kind of person. I know exactly who you should talk to. Oh, you're that kind of person. I know exactly who you can talk to. So they can make those connections once they know specifically what your goal, what your purpose is, right? So, things can, vary from $300 per month to $100,000 per month. I put pounds, but these are in dollars because I was looking them up on Udemy. So you can have online courses, coaching programs, consulting, and the large income, like that $100,000 per month, was an instructor with 46 courses on Python, how to use Python, that were hosted on Udemy. So coaching, you can do career, executive coaching, business coaching, developmental editor, or developmental coaching in terms of somebody writing a book. Life coaching, health, finance, relationships or dating, parenting. Somebody here in Liverpool is a baby whisperer. They help parents get their kids to sleep. Consultancy. Again, finding your niche is really important. Spending time researching agencies is really important. Lots and lots and lots of networking. So it can take a long time. So if you try to do this on the side, it can lead to feeling burnt out. One of my friends is trying to do that on the side, and it's really difficult. She's had to drop down a little bit from her academic work so that she can find time to do her consultancy. You need to find the passion, the time, the energy, and your niche, right? Which means getting that career clarity that I've been talking about. But these are some consulting options: research, quality diversity, human resources. You could write funding bids, copywriting or copy editing, writing blog articles. So I know somebody that was totally booked out very quickly after she was writing blog articles for health websites. Freelance art, photography or design, social media, create or optimize websites, assisting educational institutes, right, with curriculum design, policy, teaching, becoming a ghostwriter, becoming a virtual assistant, translating, becoming an online academic tutor. And here are some teaching course sites if you want to create your own courses, right? So if you've got courses that you've been teaching at the university that you think, actually, this would do really well if I took it out of the university. Udemy works really well for that. They take a cut if the student signs up from their marketing. If you attract students from your own marketing and they use your link, then you get a lot bigger of the cut. I can't remember if it's 100%. Podia, you would own 100%, but you have to pay for it. Teachable is another one. Skillshare and Teachific are ones that you have to pay for. I'm not sure about Skillshare. I think so. And then in my field, or in one of the fields that I used to teach in, was forensic psychology. I was looking to see what instructors were making, and there was one woman who was bringing home $5,000 per month. And it's about 2 years to create that, 28 courses that she had on there, because each course takes about 20 days to create. And there's lots of, people on there that give you tips on how to create, these small chunked videos. But we did that during the pandemic, didn't we? So I think that, it's quite easy to then create these. And it's like passive income, right? So you don't have the loads of like grading or marking because they're online. People do them at their own pace. And they get a little certificate at the end of it if you do that. So those are some things that you can do right now without any further training. And also you can author books, right? So people write books or ebooks. There was somebody on The Professor Is Out talking about how she does ebooks. You can record audiobooks on the things that you know. You could do a podcast. And obviously, if you have a book and it goes with your podcast, you can sell merch, all those different things, so that you have multiple streams of income. Or you can become an online affiliate with advertising, for somebody else. So I do that as well. I do that for my coach, because I think in the last year I've spent about $10,000 on career coaching for myself. And professional development in terms of taking more coaching certificates. So yes, I then say, hey, you should hire this coach because I think she's good. And then I get a cut of that. I think she gives me like 30 or 40% of the money that she makes. So it's quite a lot. So that can be good money as well. Any questions? No. So have you heard of any of these like course development sites like Udemy? Are those things familiar to you? Let me know how... whether you've heard of any of those things, whether they're of interest, any other things that you want me to go over. The consulting business that I have now is, I guess I've done several of those things. I've done courses. I've managed to build some courses on Wix. I built a course on Podia. And yeah, they're quite user friendly. They're really easy to use. I haven't done any courses to teach on Udemy, but I do have an account on there in case I do decide to do that. The consulting business that I just incorporated with somebody else is the Luminary group, and that is about research consultancy and funding consultancy. So we write funding bids for social enterprises and charities, which I love because I feel like it's so much about the purpose that I want to bring to my work. Okay, Kim says, yes, but I've never used them. Sounds like a good idea. Yes, absolutely. There's like websites where you can search your topics to see what kind of money people are bringing in who run topics like yours. And so, yeah, definitely look that up. Yes, definitely heard of and of interest. Perfect. So, yeah, if you have any questions, I'll just keep going and then we'll see if anybody has any questions. So currency number 3 is your beliefs, right? So this is about mindset work, and so much of the work that I did to leave academia was mindset because I was in a really bad place. You know, I'm reading some of the old messages that I sent to people on Facebook Messenger, and my one friend who I've known since high school, we worked at Taco Bell together, my friend Nick, he was like, Luna, do you think that you're not special? And I was like, no, I'm not special. And he was like, okay, we need to have a chat here. I was like, and I'm reading back through it, and it's really sad. I laugh about it, but that's because it's pain. And I laugh at pain sometimes. It's the way to get over it. Yeah, but I was in such a bad place. I just did not think I was worthy of anything else. I didn't think I was special. I didn't think I had anything worthwhile to offer. And he was so incredibly, supportive of me. And there were so many people, but I had to get out of my shell. I had to get out of the shame. There was kind of a lot of ego involved in it to be like telling people who had helped me get into academia, who'd helped me, put together grants, and, like my supervisor for my PhD, and telling them like, I'm leaving academia. Like I think I'm leaving academia was like really hard to say. But once I said it, there were so many people who galvanized, and said like, okay, well, there's this and there's that. And it was just having the confidence to do that, to own up to it, to describe where I was. And once I disclosed that, I had a t-shirt on earlier, like saying vulnerability is my kink. I'm all about openness this year. That's my word, is like openness, vulnerability, being open to who I am and sharing that with people. But also bringing in like more opportunities and being open to receiving those. So you need to tackle your beliefs. That's me. I was so young. Tackle your beliefs about success. Harness your experiences because they are often of greater value than your qualifications, right? It's not just what I wrote down or those pictures that I showed you about how I was a rep in the union and I was deputy director of research and I was chair of Athena Swan, which is the EDI for promotion of women in higher education. Those are all like important things. And, some of those came with, certifications and things like that. But it's about the experiences, right? So, some of the things that I could think about putting into a resume or an industry CV are things like, having experience of different countries in Europe. I lived in Sweden and then I lived in England and I've lived in the US and I've done a lot of work in South America, right? And I've worked with UN in South America. So all of that attracted when I went for director jobs for RAND Europe. They were highly attracted to that. And I got shortlisted for, or I almost got shortlisted. I was number 7 and they interviewed 6 people. But that was such a surprise to me because I didn't realize that those experiences were worthwhile as well. So it's not just your skills, it's your experiences, it's the quality that you bring, not just, the nouns. It's the verbs, right? And school, is a big culprit in this. School told me that, I needed to seek indicators of achievement, right? I have my perfect attendance school badge, which, I missed a lot of life to achieve those. Like my sister was born and I missed that because I was like, I have to have perfect attendance. I have like, honor roll and all those striving for success were all about these metrics that we ignored who we are as people, that is important for, industry to know about, because those are just as important. If you have integrity, if you have good empathy, if you have good analytical skills, if you have, good problem solving skills, those are all relevant to industry. And those are actually future-proof jobs, because I'm doing a local skills improvement plan, and I'm consulting on that. 2 big contracts just came in from the government. And those future skills are the things that we have. Analytical skills, problem solving, empathy. Those are all the future skills that in 5 years' time we're going to need. In 10 years' time that we're going to need. So you have all those skills, right? So it's important for you to realize that. And also, school told you that degrees, there's like a kind of 1-to-1 relationship between degrees and the job that you do, right? Like you want to be an engineer, you get an engineering degree. You want to, be a lawyer, you get a law degree. Like everything was about degrees. And we're learning now from younger people than me that, you can have great success without degrees. And it's through experiences, and it's through self-learning perhaps, And there was the idea of like, you get a degree, you enter at a higher level, and that hard work equaled success. But if you look a lot of the, I don't know, we don't want to be Jeff Bezos, I'm sure, but a lot of these don't actually have to be true. We can create our own narrative and our own path. So be curious. What if you spent the time and money you'd spend on a degree on building your resume, your CV, your industry CV, translating your skills, doing a boot camp, right? Learning some programming. I learned Python while I was, trying to figure out what I wanted to do next. Hiring a career coach. La la. Building a portfolio in whatever way you can. Those types of skills. So let me know what you think about that. Is that empowering to you? Does that feel like, yes, I can do that. I can build a portfolio. I mean, when I was thinking through some of the things that I'm doing now, as you can see, I'm using I learned OBS Studio to be able to do this, streaming and have my little picture in the corner and have your comments come up on screen. That is a lot of that I learned during the pandemic, because I'm a person who loves technology. And when there's a technology that can allow me to do teaching better in a way that's more engaging, that's how I started doing teaching. So I started using all of this, not going live on Facebook, but I was doing my teaching on Zoom through virtual cameras and things like this, so that I could make it more engaging. I could do walkthroughs and video feedback instead of doing, feedback on people's essays in person. I was doing them on videos. And I just love that. And if I created, and some of it was published, I published in teaching journals as well, teaching of psychology journals. And if I had wanted to go into, instructional, instruction design or curriculum design or things like this using technology, I could have put together a portfolio for that, right? So these are things that you can do if you've done if there's something you've just been doing because I like to do that. Think about, is that something that you could sell to industry? And actually, one of my friends, she always feels called out in my masterclass because she got two PhDs, and I think she has 4 master's degrees. And I'm like, when are you leaving academia? So the truth is, you have the skills and experiences already. I want to repeat that. You can market those skills when you know your strengths, your worth, your value, and what your valuable skills are. You can market those, and you can own the interview. So what don't you like about academia? How do we want to feel the freedom, right? When we reject and we say, in 2023, I'm going to say no to academia, because which one of these is the thing that's just a total lie? The flexibility, the job security, the work-life balance, the profit over people, and the hierarchy and gatekeeping that happens, right? I mean, we talk about so much. The other thing about experiences versus skills, we talk about people with lived experience in social sciences, right? We talk about how people have more knowledge of the condition that they are living than the people studying that condition, right? And at the same time, when I was leaving academia, I was like, I don't have any skills. I was devaluing the experiences that I have based on my lived experiences, based on having moved countries, based on, I speak both Spanish and English. Like, those are experiences I've had. I didn't learn those. I learned those because I grew up in Puerto Rico, I know salsa. I could teach salsa because I learned it growing up. I learned it with my dad. I just feel like there's a lot of gatekeeping and a lot of narratives around what kind of knowledge is legitimate and what kind of knowledge it is not. And I don't want you to fall into that trap. Okay, perfect. So I've got some C, D, and E, okay? Work-life balance, profit over people, and the hierarchy and gatekeeping. Yep, that's exactly right. E, yep. D, C, D and E, C, D, E, C and D. Yep, thank you. Oh, yes. Thanks, G. Thanks, Christy. I'm glad you made it on here, Christy. It's good to see you. And Louise, yes, thank you. Oh, incredible. Yep. So those are the things we're saying no to, write it down and say, this is why I'm leaving, because it's important to remember the things that are not aligning with your values. And it's, I spent 7 years as a doctoral student. I spent 4 years as an undergraduate. Like, there's a lot of years. I gave my 30s to academia. They were just gone. Like, I was 47 when I left. So I gave half my 40s to academia as well. But that doesn't mean that I have to continue being in a place that is not valuing my contribution, that isn't aligning with where my passions are in terms of, what they're valuing and what my values are. I've changed perhaps, or maybe academia has changed. It doesn't matter. It's like breaking up with someone. Like, it's not you, it's me. Or maybe it is you, but there comes a point where we have to say, that's enough. I've got enough of my years left that I don't want to continue giving it away to academia. If you continue working with the way that you're working now, you'll miss those opportunities. You'll waste more time being in that toxic environment, and you will miss out on creating perhaps, that legacy or the mission that you want to make from your passions. And like I said, it doesn't have to be that you're marketing or, it's not neoliberalism. You don't need to market your passions. You don't need to create, how do I sell them? How do I hustle? But you can create a way of working that ensures that what you are passionate about has room in your life, right? Because working 60 to 80 hours a week is not a place where I can put my passions and shoehorn them in, right? So creating, passive income or whatever it is allows you to then have time for your passions. So at the moment, do you recognize any of these barriers for you guys? Lacking skills, the fear of uncertainty or that you're going to regret your choices, thinking you have to pay to play, right? Going into more debt perhaps to get another certificate or qualification, finding time, finding the energy. All of those are things that, those are the barriers, right? So what are the things that you want, your desires? Give these barriers. If you have fear, this is the thing I want. Give it a number. I want it to the, 1 out of 10, 10. I want freedom. I want to create, the life design that I want, or the meaningful work or the fulfillment. Give that a number. And then give your fear a number. 3, 4, it's lower, right? It's lower. Are you willing to accept a little bit of fear to get to the other side so that you have that big opportunity? Spend as much energy thinking about what will happen if you do leave, and you create a path that creates a worthwhile future, right? So I want you to be maybe even journaling or drawing about what you're going to have when you leave. Because I think we spend a lot of time thinking, oh God, if I leave and then this happens, and all the negative things, right? We keep thinking like, what if, but I want you to spend as much energy thinking about the what ifs in a good way. What are all those opportunities that I might have, right? It's kind of like building a all the pros list, and write down all the possibilities and opportunities that may happen, because why can't they be true as well? Obviously you don't want to be totally like completely a teenager again and doing all the risky things, but a little bit of teenage mindset is a good thing. I think doing a little risk. So I want you to be a fulfilled Fernanda, not a skills shape-shifting Sandra. I want you to be able to discover yourself, right? So Fernanda discovers herself and what she cares about. She connects with what she wants from a job and what brings joy. She identifies her strengths and finds the confidence to commit to her new career goals with boundaries intact. She uses a clear strategy for the job search and finds her network so she can feel safe and fulfilled in her new job. Write in the comments, Fernanda, if you want to be Fernanda. We all want it to. C and E for sure. Oh, hyper management performance review. Oh, yeah. Justine, yeah, that's exactly. It sounds. Are you sure you didn't go to University of Liverpool? Yeah. But we want this new life, this new life design. We want to be Fernanda. Okay, perfect. Just making sure everything's working. Hey, this didn't work out so bad. I said that my monitor crapped out, but it hasn't been too bad. I just keep changing between screens, and it's fine. So who is ready for a change to be that fulfilled Fernanda? Have you done challenging things before? This is one more challenge. You can cope because you've built those coping skills. Have you had to deliver a 1-minute pitch? An interview is a series of 1-minute pitches, right? Have you ever written a proposal? You could write a consultancy bid if something's out for tender, right? It's the same skills. Can you think of one person in your network, in your family, and your friends, any of your former students to email, because some of my former students are now working in industry in equality, diversity, inclusion. They're directors in that arena. I contacted one of them. Another one's a data analyst because I prepared her, because I was like, you're my PhD student. I want to prepare you for anything. And she's working in finances. So, I contacted both of them. Think of one person. Okay, accountability time. Think of that one person. Write it down right now. You don't have to write it down in the comments. But say you have your person. Write person in the comments so that I know that you have written down a person and you are going to follow up with that person. Yeah, we have to keep each other accountable. Are your eyes open? Yes. No. Yes. It's a yes, right? Everybody's eyes are open. You know exactly where you want to be and you know exactly how to get there. Oh, did it disappear? Let me just double check, y'all. Facebook looks fine. Okay. Maybe G, it's there now. Perfect. There is a delay. There's a little bit of delay. Let me see what, no, I don't have any dropped frames, says the tech thing. So I think we're all good. I think my internet is fine. Okay, cool. So yes. Yeah, I got a yes. I'm so excited. I got a yes. We want that. We're ready. We want an enthusiastic yes. So what do you have to do to make this change? If you really want to pivot your career and be successful in job applications, you need a strategy. So I'm going to go through the strategy that you need. To find your purpose, your inner motivation. You don't need to spam the job market. You don't need to throw spaghetti at the wall and experience a lot of rejections. You just need to hit all these points, right? Define your goal, develop a plan, take action, stick to it, evaluate your plan, and then you get to success. So one of the things that I think is really important to look at is the things that are going to motivate you as you go through this journey. So having your inspiration is your wings, right? Finding that why, like why am I doing this? This is what I want out of life, right? This is my desire goal, and this is what I'm saying no to and what I'm rejecting. Your strategy and your vision is your direction, right? You have to have a good heading. Your values are your compass, right? Does this align with my values or does it not? And your purpose, your sense of purpose is your lift, right? It's going to keep you going in the hard times. You've got your purpose. So the first thing is your inspiration, right? And empowerment, rediscovering yourself and your forgotten talents. Because you want to go from somebody who's just kind of stuck and not seeing the wood for the trees to somebody who's empowered and inspired. You need to reconnect with your values. There's a lot of, kind of values work that you can find if you Google it. Find what inspires you, write it down, make a vision board or whatever you like to do. Rediscover who you are without academia. Like I said, we are a story based on our experiences, based on our actions. People have stories about us. Maybe go and ask people, like, what do you think are my biggest strengths? Yeah? And it'll be fascinating to find out what people say about. I wrote them all down in my phone. I was just looking at them the other day because it's from several years ago that was my first thing. I knew I was going to be leaving academia and I really wanted to understand how people see me. And it was so interesting. I definitely recommend that. Getting an idea of what other people's stories are about you breaks you out of your, sense of that you have a fixed identity. Take joy in discovery. Like I said, get into your inner teenager and take joy in that exploration and redefine a personal vision of success. What does success mean to you? Not what you were sold in school, but what does success, when you're 80, and you're looking back at your life, what does success really mean to you? This was my vision board that I made a little while ago to kind of show the things that really light me up. Oh, okay, just getting a long delay. Sorry, Chi. That's annoying. So yes, these are the things that light me up as a vision board. So being a change maker, dancing, breaking free of expectations, having light and love and a community of women who support me, having those creative moments, having some capoeira in my life. I don't know if any of you do the Brazilian martial arts, working with, youth empowerment programs. I do volunteer work with mentoring girls from disadvantaged backgrounds, and freedom. I love having the freedom and the impact. So this was something that I've made for myself when I was thinking about what my vision is for myself and what success means to me. Yeah, and in that way, you get your inspiration, right? You really see what lights you up and what's going to make you feel the most fulfilled in your life. And it's not just translating your skills, but it's a holistic audit of all of your talents, right? As I said in the beginning, if you want to create a lifestyle of creativity and freedom, you need to create a career that makes space for doing something that you love. And this is Shannon. So Shannon was a professor in Ohio in biology, and she came to me and said, I'm going to start an e-commerce business. I've just signed up for a certificate over the summer. I'm going to do this e-commerce thing. I can't hire you as a coach because I'm spending all my money doing the e-commerce. And she described herself as a, what'd she say, paralyzed, like academic perfectionist. She did need everything to be perfect before she started it. Paralyzed achiever, I think, is one of the things that she said. And I felt like everything I've gone through, I was not alone. So she hired me in August. She dropped out of the e-commerce and was like, I want to hire you. I want to really invest fully in myself. And And she said, because oftentimes you, Luna, would have some version of that story that you've been through or that clients have been through. So it was nice to not feel alone, because that was one thing that I needed to leave behind, was that feeling of being alone in academia. And now she's a real estate investor. So she was kind of doing it on the side. And I said, let's connect with those values. How do you want to create this business? And she created it with her husband. So he got involved in it. So it's a family affair. And what they do is she said it's not just like flipping houses. They help people who don't have houses, who can't afford houses, to create their first dream home, which I think is just amazing. And she said, I'm leaving academia and I'm making more money than I was making as an associate professor, which I think is just amazing that she's just like skyrocketed within like 6 weeks that I saw her. Yeah, let me just make sure. Okay. And then Teresa was somebody who was doing a postdoc and just felt like leaving the PhD and going into a postdoc was just like, is this it? Isn't there supposed to be more? Aren't I supposed to feel better about this, progression? So she joined the Pivot with Purpose program, and she said it's been a big help in reflecting on what a meaningful career entails, right? So building your own meaningful and successful career. Luna's prompts were always on point, helped me when I felt stuck, and inspired me to look at my values and strengths from a different perspective. Entering the job market outside of academia now, I feel more structured and focused. And Luna is full of advice and inspiration, such fun to work with. I definitely recommend her course to anyone who is struggling with making their next career move. So she's been applying and having informational interviews. She got interviewed for a job, but didn't get it. But we've got some things to work on. So yeah, she's making progress. She wants to work in nonprofit and in sustainability. So number 2, being bold. You need to rediscover your unique strengths and become your own advocate, right, of your worth and your vision. So you want to not be feeling like lost and unimpressed with yourself. You need time to think. I think that's so important. You need time to rest and to think about what you want for your next journey of your life. And I feel like one of the things that really changed mine was this kind of BOLD as an acronym. Breathe, observe, and listen to your story, and then decide. And rediscovering your strengths, your skills, and your talents. Understand what lights you up. Imagine how you want to spend your days. And part of that, kind of like time to think, and when you're breathing, observing, and listening, is about quieting down all the shoulds and expectations and just focusing on your breath. It's like, mindfulness or meditation work is when you daydream, right? It's when you imagine. Those are the imaginations that you need to activate in order to think about what's my new path. Because you're dreaming up something different. You're not just floating from, okay, it's the PhD, then the postdoc, then the assistant professor, then the associate professor, then the, you know what I mean? It's not just floating, you're doing something new. And that means imagination. That means innovation. That means reinvention. And then building a strategy for the job search. And one of the things that I found really helpful when you guys were talking about the things that you really enjoy doing, you can look at the kind of skills that you have and then look at the industry that you could go into and start to put them into quadrants of like, I find that really enjoyable. I find that really easy. And then think about the things that you think are in your like zone of, kind of where you feel in flow. And some people call it like your zone of genius, right? I really like doing this, what I'm doing with you guys, presenting orally, right? I really like helping and mentoring and coaching. I like reading and researching. I love data analysis. And I find it easy. I mean, obviously it's not as enjoyable. Like I could just spend my days doing data analysis. It has to be for some kind of purpose, obviously. But okay, I don't like writing funding bids, and I did say I'm a consultant and I write funding bids, but it's like these are the things where it must be mondo worthwhile to do, right? Like it's got to be for a huge purpose for me to enjoy doing it. And for charitable work, I enjoy doing that. And when I do it with other people, so that my consulting business is co-owned, we're co-founders. So I really like working with her, my colleague Yuchechi. And yeah, we work really well together. We have like diverse skills that really slot in together. And then this is a possible growth zone. And then the things that you have to do, right? Like they're really easy, but they're such a grind. They're just not enjoyable. So doing something like this might kind of free your mind into things that you might want to be spending your time doing. Have you guys done any kind of like zone of genius work? There's like a book on zone of genius. Maybe did Etsia get one? I can't remember what book you got, Etsia. Because I did some giveaways over the summer. Oh yeah, we have to do the giveaway soon. Okay, I'll do that next. Because I want you to be in a sense of flow, from your work. And it's not just identifying your skills, but it's a vision for what skills you want to use and for what. And then you will be aware of the unique strengths you have and see the value you bring, and find confidence to advocate for yourself. I'm just checking to make sure everything looks fine. Yeah, everything looks all right. Find your zone of genius. Yes, okay, good. Yeah, so that was the book that you got. Yay, Etsia wins everything. I think I took your name off of the Wheel of Fortune tonight. I was like, Etsia wins everything. You got a lucky streak. I wonder what 2023 holds for you, Etsia. I'd love to see. So Claire Williams came into my world because she was my student. She was my undergraduate and then master's student over 10 years ago. And she was working as a multisystemic therapist, and now she's working in a very senior level role within industry. She said, I'd applied for a lot of jobs when I spoke to you and slowed that process down. Because when she came to me, she was like, Luna, I need another degree. Like I have a master's and I've been working for 10 years in this position, but I feel like I need another degree because I want to I want to pivot my career. And I don't have the skills to go into like the kind of industry that I want to go into. And I was like, okay, tell me what you've been doing for the last 10 years. Okay. Right. And I was like, okay, we need to turn that around. These are the kind of translatable skills that I'm hearing. Why are you doing the work you're doing for the last 10 years? What is the purpose behind it? What are you contributing? What are your big contributions? What are your big achievements? What do people tell you? Like everything. So she said, I slowed that right down after our chat. I ended up in 1 week getting offered 7 interviews, which was amazing, but felt completely overwhelming. I then did something I would never have imagined doing before we spoke, and I canceled all of them but 2. I wanted to put my energy into the ones that meant the most to me. I actually got one of the jobs and was first reserved for the other and feel absolutely made up. I'm going to be heading up the industry, so delivering training and consultation amongst other things. I'm so happy, and to top everything off, I just had an offer accepted on my dream house. I used the exact same mechanisms you taught me, and it helped my partner and I focus on what we wanted, which is incredible. Like I just cried after she sent that. It was amazing. Alexandra came to me because she was working in Greece, and then she'd gone to Sweden to do a postdoc, and she was completely unfulfilled in her role as a postdoc. And she just said, I just have like skills for being a postdoc. I did my PhD in Sweden. That's all I've got. And I was like, okay, what'd you do in Greece? Oh, I was a lawyer, and I worked for a high level policy industry. And I was like, okay, wait a second. You have a lot more skills than what you've told me. So she now is going to be working in administrative work within a university, but in research support at a higher level and making more money than she was making as a postdoc. So she says, Luna is very insightful and she can easily understand the needs of her clients. She's very good at combining practical advice while always keeping in the center of the discussion her clients' values and priorities. Going beyond fixing your CV into a resume, Luna can actually support her clients into a meaningful transition. Do not escape from your jobs. Put yourselves and your needs on the forefront in creating a new path. I absolutely recommend Luna. Yeah, but she says, do not escape. And like the name of my Facebook group is The Great Academic Escape. But you know, we do it with purpose. So that's the next one, purpose. Obtain clarity on your identity as separated from work so you can break free of career expectations, right? We don't want to replicate the sensations of being in the chair. Although I love Sandra Oh. I don't know. Give me, like, if you love Sandra Oh, tell me. Because we all love Sandra Oh. Etsy, you're laughing at me. So, tackle your imposter phenomena. I don't like imposter syndrome, you know, but we did not give ourselves imposter syndrome. That was given to us by the systems not valuing what we bring. Any kind of judgment. Hold your identity lightly while having a strong sense of self. Find your new network. Trust yourself and value your contribution to have confidence in your interview. Like I said, look through your contribution, what you've made in academia. Ignite your imagination and have the vision for your own future so you advocate for you. And making a pivot in your career takes courage and vision and doing something new that you are imagining. So it's hard for your current network to understand that. They have limiting beliefs. They have fears for you. You know, they think you could fail, right? So listening to the people who have doubts isn't going to help you in creating a new path. You need to find people who are on that path, which is another reason why informational interviews or even just like chatting to people who are not in academia is going to help you. You need to make connections with those taking similar steps to you. So yeah, you need to find your new network, your new cohort, your new crew, your adventurous crew. And it's not just understanding your worth, it's about selling it across different contexts and in a way that resonates with industry hiring managers and potential clients. And then you will have a clear strategy and you will know who is in your corner or how to get them there, which will make job searches more strategic. So I want to do, as Etsy is laughing at me about the Wheel of Fortune, I want to go ahead and do the Wheel of Fortune, but I need to find where I put it. Did I put it here? No. Well, yes. Okay, that's where I can find it. It's here. Okay, perfect. Can you guys see this? Let me see if it's coming up on Facebook yet. Not yet. There it is. Okay. So I think I have everybody's names on here. And we're going to go ahead and spin. So this is to win. Oh, Etsy's name is on it. I was kind. This is to win the Heading into Freedom in 2023. It's a workshop I'm running on Zoom. It's limited to 25 people. We've already sold 7 slots so far. And it's a workbook with 19 pages to really look at and reflect on 2022. What were your big contributions? What were your big achievements? Celebrating that. And then looking forward to 2023 with inspiration and a compass. And I found it really fun to engage in the exercises for it. So I'd send you out the workbook. We have a private group on Spaces app. And then we'll meet on Zoom and go through, inspiring the next year of what we want it to be like in terms of life design. So one of the things is about like, what's your word for 2023? What are the 3 things that you're going to wake up every day and do? Yeah. What are the 3 things you're going to tell yourself every day? All that kind of stuff. It's loads more than that, but it's about that kind of inspiration. So if you want to join me, I'll put a link in the comments later, but this is to get a free one. So let's see how it goes. Here we go. Who's gonna win? I hope they're on. You have to be on to win. Iman. Do we have, let me go back to the comments. Do we have, let's see, we've got participants here. I don't see Iman. No. 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 Okay. Unless on Facebook. No. Okay. Oh, hey, Steven. Awesome. Okay. All right, let's go back. All right. Let's try it again. Let's see. I love the clapping. No, I don't see my on here. Okay. Some people couldn't make it. All right, let's go again. Let's see. Oh, do we have a winner? Lorleen! Lorleen won! Congratulations! Awesome! Oh, so good. Let me know if you can make it. If you can't make it, I'll replace it with something else. But I hope that you can make it on the 19th. All right. Oh, that's fun. I do like that. All right, back to the show. Let me find the slides. Yes, perfect. So, yeah. So Alex came to me as an assistant professor, and she is now looking at director roles in think tanks and NGOs. She's had to take a break for a little while, but she said Luna is very enthusiastic and caring and created a long-term relationship with her clients. This is very meaningful and can be a lifeline in hard times. She is developing a community and revising her products based on feedback and is invested in the growth and well-being of her clients. And this is really important. So CW is somebody who's a professor in humanities in the US. And she came to me and then got tenure and decided to remain in academia, but she has so much better boundaries and understands her purpose and what are the things that she needs to work on to be able to pivot in the future. And, you know, she has, because she's in the Pivot with Purpose program, she has lifetime access, so she can just come back whenever she wants. But anyway, she said, yeah, actually, speaking of networking, I met someone. It was a very cool opportunity, and it's on me to follow up with them. It could be considered networking, but it just happened organically through family friends. And another one of my clients said, oh, yeah, I was at church, and I was talking to my sister, and then she introduced me to this person, and then I got a consultancy gig from it. I'm like, oh, my gosh, you know, like, this is the kind of thing. It's not about, like, networking as like a hard you know, mystical thing. It's really about just talking to people. But it's I found it really hard because people would ask me like, what do you do? And I'm like, what do I do? I'm not an academic. You know, and I think it was again about ego and getting over the ego. Okay, so fulfillment, that's the last one we want, right? A lot of people said they want fulfillment. Yeah, just making sure it's all good. Yes. So we don't want to be like this person here with your glasses all, you know, awkward. We want to know where we want to be and we want to thrive in our new career. So we need to set our goals and we need to understand what those barriers to the goals are, right? So if you know that you feel fear of uncertainty, is there something that you can do to, you know, journal or understand where that fear is coming from? And knowing that individually, you know, so each person is going to have their own barriers. You need a strategic plan toward your goal. Applying strategically is so much more important rather than throwing spaghetti at the wall. You slow right down, right? And then you're building a vision and a strategy so that you know exactly, like Claire did. She said no to 5 of those interviews and focused on the 2 that she knew strategically were the ones that she wanted. Using the skills that you value, so finding the ones that you really value in your next career, and confidently showing what you can contribute to industry. And being able to do the fulfilling things that you want to do and the priorities. It's not just a plan for how many applications you put in, right? It's a strategy for which jobs are likely to align with what you want out of life and work, and, that have the valuable skills that you want to use. And Claire again says, it's full liberation. I couldn't put my finger on it, but that is it. That feeling when I turned down those interviews, I felt so in control and I knew it was the right thing. Whereas previously I would have never done it. Or if I did, I would have kicked myself, ruminating on all the what ifs. So I was so happy that my coaching session with her yielded so much of this. And CW said, it was kind of a vibe thing. You weren't like some slick professional corporate looking person. I already worked with one career counselor, but they weren't focused on people coming out of academia. I thought it was really cool to get to chat with women in other countries and just hear about their experiences. And there's of course differences, but then there's also the commonalities. And most of your exercises have confirmed for me that teaching and research and writing, sharing my knowledge are my passions. So again, it's that community, finding your community. So stop waiting for the job, the next job to pluck you out of your current toxic job, and start getting serious about creating that meaningful change for yourself. Because I just, want you to take away this one thing. I want you to know that you can leave and that you are in a different spot now than where you were when you entered academia. You can pivot now. You're allowed to leave and redefine success for yourself. You're allowed to put yourself first. You're allowed to find joy in whatever way you want. So the big question now is, how can you apply this framework and find the right job for you? Because you don't want to be skills shifting Sandra, keep on trying to fit her CV into job applications while juggling multiple low-paying side gigs. You want to be fulfilled, Fernanda. You want to work in a job that fits with your purpose and working a pattern that allows you to do what matters, right? So, full disclosure, I'm going to talk about this program. Who wants to hear about this program, The Life After Academia? It's a coaching program that includes all the exercises that I've shown you throughout the 4 phases, the 4 steps. It has the community, right? Talking with other people about where you're at, getting that confirmation, the validation, but also accountability. And then we've got guest speakers as well. So I'm super excited to present this. And oh, awesome. Let me grab Laureline's email. Can I copy it? Oh, yeah, it looks like it. Yep, I got you. Wait, hang on. Okay, cool. Got it. Thank you. I'll contact you about the prize. Yes, I want to hear about it, but need to leave for now. Oh, no. Okay. Well, it'll be recorded and I'll share it with you guys after the event. Awesome. Let me check in my Facebook peeps. Cool wheel. Yeah, I love the wheel. I'll listen to the recording. Kim says, yes, I want to hear. Awesome. Amazing. I love it. Okay, perfect. So, I want to give you a bird's eye view of what you will get access to. But yes, this has been like almost a year in the making, because I think I left in 2021 academia, and then I built an executive coaching program, and then a lot of people were asking me how I left academia and they wanted that kind of coaching, so I pivoted it. Pivot so many times in my life, and I pivoted it so that it was focused more on what you need to leave academia. Still has the kind of leadership coaching in there because I want people to be able to apply for those senior level jobs. You're not going for the junior level jobs. That's when my clients hear the phrase, "You're overqualified," and they think I've done it wrong. I've put the CV in wrong. And I'm like, no. You need to go for director jobs. And I send them the director, jobs that I think would be good for them. Like I do the search for them and I go, look, I found this job for you. This is a perfect match. I'm a matchmaker. And they're like, oh my God, I have all these skills. I should have been applying for director jobs. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is why, and I love that moment where people realize they have so much worth. So yes, I'm getting sidetracked, but that's the kind of empowerment that I want for people. And that's what I created with this program. So you get the 3 parts that I just talked about. So you get the Life After Academia Blueprint, you get the support network, and you get bonuses tonight. So I'll go through those one by one. So you get access to the Life After Academia Blueprint. So this is where I have 9 modules of information. There's 53 steps. You can see it right there. There's 53 steps in the program. It's a course online, but it's more than the course because there are, group sessions. There's one-on-one with me on Zoom. So it's all on an app. So it's easy to go through all the steps, leveraging your strengths and your values, owning your worth, redefining success, igniting your job search, optimizing your LinkedIn, all the CV and cover letter templates. And, obviously I'm adding more and more to it as people say, hey, can we have help with this? Or I'm stuck on this. So with this, you're going to explore your motivations, your values and goals, identify potential career paths and opportunities outside of academia, develop a plan and strategy for transitioning out of academia, build, the skills and confidence in networking, job searching, and transitioning to your new career. And, one person contacted me and said, you know what, the Life After Academia Blueprint would fit me so well because I'm going into my next job. I've already left academia, but I have so much like that emotional baggage, right, that I talked about in the beginning. And I need to let it go and enter this new phase without all of that hang up and burnout, kind of weighing me down for my for my industry role. And I was like, this is perfect. We can definitely put that together because, you are kind of getting over the fear of uncertainty and all of that within this program as well. So once you make a decision, once you invest, you show commitment. I mean, when I invested in the first coaching program, I immediately got successes that I did not know that I could get. It just changed my energy. But also diving deep on your inner motivations and being anchored in your values, you can see like all of the client testimonials talked about values because aligning with your values is stabilizing. It roots you. You feel more balanced when you know what your values are and you're not going to compromise. And when you're aligned with your values, you can express that in your job interviews. Your decisions feel easier, right? Even with the buying of the house, she connected with her values, right? Her and her husband connected with their values. Their decisions then felt more easy and singular. And people who have singular motivations, like are able to express them clearly, make clearer cases for why they should be hired. Whenever I've done job interviews where I'm so clear about what my values are and the contribution that I want to be making, they just light up. One of the hiring managers said that they were talking about me after the interview for over a year, just going, when do we have a job lined? Because I didn't get that one job. It didn't fit my exact skills. And they were just like, when are we going to have a job to offer to Luna? When are we going to have a job to offer to Luna? And, so, I mean, those are the kinds of things that you want. I want that for you. Because I want that for you, Kim. I want that for you, Christy. I know Christy has left. I want that for Laureline. Oh, you have to leave. But I want that for you anyway. Yes. So You also get support, right? And I mean, I put plus because there's so much more so much more support than I offered in the Pivot with Purpose program, which came out last year. So you get immediate access to the spaces and Facebook group community. And it's a private community, smaller, and it's an amazing community, right? Like all the people on there, I mean, you can tell, like the people who are attracted to my programs are just such wonderful and kind people. And here you will make friends, get support, and have any of your questions answered. Etsia can say, if she's still on. You get weekly community support calls on Zoom, and I will host those and answer all your questions. I also sometimes deliver masterclasses in those that are specific to the group. And then also you get 3 one-to-one calls with me on top of all of that. So you schedule them whenever you want. You get your VIP call with me, and we work through strategizing on your resume, getting your cover letter, worked up, networking help, and I can record them as well and send them to you so that you have, all that information and you don't get overwhelmed with too much information. You can revisit it as many times as you want. And it's the hand holding that a lot of people love about this part of the program, and the interview support that you need. And, your goals are my goals. Like I said, I'm out there looking for jobs for you. So I'm in your pocket. And you get access to an accountability and inspiration document. We're going to go through this, Etsia, in the new year and make sure that we have all of our vision and our purpose and everything like that. And yes, so Shannon said, Shannon was just she was making me cry. She said, what brought me to Luna was that she provided a lot of light as opposed to clouds when navigating the decision to leave academia. And having that light helping pull me forward instead of frustration and clouds and intensity making me somewhat paralyzed was what made all the difference. What was most useful was holding a mirror up to me along the way and really getting me to think about what my values are. What is it about my current profession that's not aligning with that? How can I move forward in a way to get meaningful experiences? And seeing that the best way for me to get those experiences is to always go back to my values and check in and see if I'm aligning with that and holding myself accountable. And she's just made amazing progress. We did 6 one-to-one sessions. So she went for the full ultimate, luxurious package, which I also do. And then bonuses. So these are the bonuses you get in the next 72 hours. So yeah, you have time to catch up, Christy and Laureline. So you get the ultimate networking guide. And like I said, I use this to rediscover my skills and worth and achieve over 50% interview rates for director roles. Crafting a compelling story for smashing the interview with confidence. So this is an innovative method that's resulted in hiring managers offering me interviews and director roles without even applying. So like I said, they came back to me and said, we've been thinking about you this whole time. Do you want this job? And I was like, okay, yeah, maybe I'll apply. And then I didn't apply, and they were like, you've been shortlisted for interview. I just got an email straight away. Cultivating your confidence. So using the bold technique to create daily, weekly, and monthly action plans to choreograph your life with you as the VIP and discovering a revitalized you. And then, awesome, Rosalie has provided access to her website, Minerva Recruitment. You get 1 year membership to her Minerva Recruitment website. It's a regularly updated, curated jobs board only for HE sector job seekers. So this is for people who are leaving academia and looking for non-academic jobs. Access to the exclusive virtual mentor, access to exclusive negotiated discounts. She's adding more things all the time. And then a hypnotherapy download from Dr. Paulina Trevena from No Woo Woo. So you get that as well. And it's about overcoming perfectionism. And then you get tips from a dozen guest experts sharing their expertise and learning journeys in the process. So it's time for you to follow a blueprint that makes the career search feel like a deliciously opulent holiday. And that's me surfing. Which apparently Facebook says was like 8 years today. So awesome. Perfect. So let me just get back to here. So, you don't want to be in a place where like you're stuck on standby. You don't want to settle. You want to enjoy the process. You want to slow down. When I was in Puerto Rico, the song that was playing was Con calma, mi vida, con calma, que nada se falta. Anyway, with calm, with, gentleness, with that slow, deliberate process. But it's not slow, right? It's not slow because it's effective. It's faster because it's effective. You're slowing down the job application process. You're not just like spamming the job market, throwing spaghetti at the wall. You're being slow, deliberate, having a strategy, which is then going to be faster because it's more effective. And you don't try to do it all 24/7, and you see potential and growth. And, the reality is, and this is something that somebody said in the net walking this morning when I was there, they said, wherever you go, you bring yourself with you, right? So doing that deep inner work that I talked about is really important at the same time as having the strategy and the goals and knowing your worth and your skills. It's really about knowing like what makes you tick, deep dive, doing that deep dive into what makes you tick. Oh my gosh, Sylvanis! Prof is here on Facebook. Did you say hello? Let me check my the comments. Yes, strongly recommend the program. I wish I could highlight your comment, Etzia, but Etzia said that. I am not lying. Okay. So yes, we want it to be like a holiday. We want all of this program to be a holiday where we're doing funny dances, right? So yes, the no woo woo bonus, the Minerva bonus, the interview bonus, confidence bonus, the networking bonus, and the blueprint with 9 modules of content. You get a mobile app with the program content plus the Spaces community group. And Etzia and I are on Discord, so join us on there as well. You get the Facebook group, the weekly community support calls, the 3 one-to-one strategy planning sessions with me, 1-to-1. All the module content with all the LinkedIn profile optimization and everything like that. What was I going to say? Yes, it's on, early bird special right now is $1,320 or $177 a month for 8 months. And you get lifetime access to the program, as I said. So you can do it at your own pace. Obviously, the modules come, a week to week, but you can do it at your own pace because you get lifetime access to everything. The other thing I will say is that because I'm in Europe, we have a 14-day money-back guarantee. Without the bonuses, obviously, I'd have to subtract the amount for that. But, you can try it out and see if it works for you. If it's something for you, then, within 14 days, you can get your money back. No questions asked. Sarita said, you were so helpful and generous with your time, Luna. You're in the top 10 of people who have influenced my life. She says this to me every now and again because I forget. And I'm like, I don't know that I can do anything. And she's like, no, you are for real. And she has Dr. Survival consultancy business. And she's, done a book, Science of Superheroes, which is on my bookshelf. So yes, you lose access to the bonuses in 72 hours. So do go to Life After Academia. It's in the comments on my website and join up. And yeah, everything's on there. You can read more about the program. If you want to meet with me, we can do a half-hour free consultation session on my website. It's a discovery call. So that's what you'd book if you want to book with me. I know one person, Justine, we're going to talk soon. So listen to your values and decide to commit to action that aligns with those values. Have you had a good time tonight? Do you feel enthusiastic and inspired? Is that something that you value? Make a commitment to align your actions this year with that. You don't have to join my program, but I want you to write down your values so that you align the choices that you make with those values. Yeah? So, I do these for free because I really want people to have information and to empower them and inspire them to go on their own path, right? And that's what I want for you. So you have 3 possible decisions, right? Make a clear decision to prioritize yourself. Make an investment in your future. Or you can keep on waiting, finding meaningful side jobs to add to your current job, right? It's good if you do that with a strategy because we don't want you to burn out before it's a lucrative business for you to side shift into. Or do the deep dive on your own without accountability, without someone guiding you, and without a support group. People do that. There are people, and the professor is out. Some of them say it took them 18 months to do that inner work. And for real, that's how it took me a long time as well. So having somebody who's already been through the process and read all the books and done more coaching sessions and been qualified and, spent $10,000 last year on coaching me to be better at what I do for you guys, that's where the investment comes in, right? It means that you get there faster. But I really appreciate, I just want to say, one of my values is integrity, and I really appreciate you guys listening, because one of the huge currencies, I talked about belief, skills, and your information or knowledge, but a huge currency is your time. So I love that you've, chosen me to spend some time with on a Saturday, especially, and at 3:00 in the morning, especially, so I just want to say, thank you from the bottom of my heart, because that's a huge currency that you're, investing and trusting me with. So thank you. Yes, I just wanted to say that. So how much is it worth if you found a job where you could shut off when you need to rest, right? You're not working weekends. If you were no longer underpaid because you're passionate and love the work, so it's easy to exploit you because you're like, but I love my students, right? And love won't love you back. Work won't love you back. That's it. Work won't love you back, which is a really good book. And it was one that I gave away over the summer. But definitely check that out. There's also a YouTube video where they talk about work won't love you back. And if you were no longer undervalued, right? A lot of us have had that experience where we were undervalued in our jobs. Okay. Oh, thank you, Kim. That's amazing. Thank you. I love that you stayed. So,
really amazed that I'm just a few weeks out from leaving my job, and I had 0 reservations, 0 fear, and I expected that when I was at this point I would be freaking out. So it just gives me so much peace to know that I made the right decision and I had help making it and navigating the reality of it. And so thank you for that.
and that's the last word from Shannon. Saying that she thought that she'd be freaking out when she was only a couple weeks out from her last day at work. She hired me right before she put in her resignation letter, because she wanted me to be there. She was like, I need some hand holding for putting in the resignation letter. And I saw her through to 2 weeks before, the time was up and she was leaving. And her last day was in December, and then it was her birthday. So I'm just overjoyed with how much progress she made. And she even said, I wish that my son went through the same program, same pivoting exercises, because connecting with your values is so powerful for making a life choice, right? For any young person, or for us, any older person, for anyone making a shift. So that's what I want you to come away with. Let me go back to my camera, see if there's anybody asking any other questions, or if everybody had to leave. I totally understand that. Oh, thank you, Etsia. I'm glad that you stayed. But yeah, if you have any questions, put them in the comments or contact me on LinkedIn, and I can talk to you there. But yes, I hope to see you in